Hello, all. Please say hello in the chat. Should you be there? Don't say hello if you're not, obviously. I've sort of got some new stuff. There's a new laptop, and it's streaming at what's meant to be a lower quality, but hopefully will be a higher quality. Is it okay? Please just say yes. Please just say yes to that question. Lovely stuff. Excellent. As you can see, I've just come from my spider hole to present the quiz today. Next week, probably going to be Marlon Brando in some way. Stevie Cheese is here, ladies and gentlemen. Stevie Cheese. Leo is here. Martin is here. Harry is here. All the greats are here. That's my own personal quiz, Mount Rushmore, right there. Did anyone have any difficulty registering? Is that all okay? If anyone has, let me know. We have a bumper crop of teams. I'll tell you that now. And I've been messaged as well. Let's see who it is. It's Vicky. It's my good pal Vicky, all the way from the Netherlands, ladies and gentlemen. We are broadcasting to far-flung places today. Hello, Roger. Hello, Ian. You're narrow. No one has said that to me for some time, and certainly not punctuated like that. Yes, we have visitors from Scotland, and maybe from Cornwall, but certainly Devon, and the Netherlands, and maybe someone from the southeast is here. But it's fine. Untold spread. Well done, by the way. Before we do anything, should we let us all applaud the slip in for winning the Camera York Pub of the Year? A fine achievement. Obviously not quite as good. The best night. Hello, Andy. The best night is when I do the darts there, obviously, but everyone. And happy birthday to Mrs. Badger. And also happy birthday to our Lord and Saviour, Sir Jonathan Trott, ladies and gentlemen. Let us never forget his 100-on debut, the deciding test of the 2009 Ashes. Let us also not forget the joy of waking up to discover England had reached 517 for 1 at the close of play. Let's not forget that. Happy birthday, Jonathan. May you be nurdling the ball for 1 through mid-wicket wherever you are. Excitingly, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I can reveal that we have special guests with us tonight. A special guest or two. All will be revealed in good time. I should have more chat here, shouldn't I? I mean, maybe a well-polished introduction or some such would be ideal, but why? I was attempting to manipulate my laptop to do the, the look to the side that Harry Hill did on TV, but I can't do it. All I kept getting the angle wrong, and then just like in the bottom of my face, looking askance. Didn't work at all. A jingle would be a good idea, actually, wouldn't it? Yeah. Or just, I don't know, maybe. I want the, can I have them used off the Gino Ginelli adverts? Can I have that? Or just the Gino Ginelli, that would be fine. It's a short-lived phenomenon, wasn't it? Gino Ginelli. Do you remember that? Do you remember sending to Peter Kay then, wasn't there? Do you remember that? Do you remember Blunderbuss, that Royal Fashion weaponry? How many do we have here? 30. 30 people. 30 people haven't said hello, though, have they? It's a bit miserable. Excuse me. Not in the action, Colin. Come on. Dude. Hello. Hello, Grimsby Matt. Hello, Mickey. Hello, Claire. Hello, Leo. What it do, my dudes? Leo, come on. I can't do the translation thing right now. Hello, Katie in the Netherlands contingency. Hello. Hello, Jason, local delivery hero. Are we well? Hello, RT. That's Dick. Yep. Hello, Dick. How are we? Yes. Good. Excellent. I've occupied this corner of my room now for 6 weeks, and I have a team of. I may need to be lifted off it by some sort of artificial means. What's the strongest hoist anyone has got? Has anyone got one made out of chain or something like that? She might be needing that. Yes, this sort of what's happened is I lent my clippers to Andy Johnson, um, and I don't have. I thought I had some spare, but I know if I did, I would have given him the spare. So I don't know why I thought that. But I can't really shave. Well, they were selling what in the middle of Lidl? Chain hoists. Yes, I imagine they were. Yeah, chain hoist, an emailer, a steam powered lesbian, and 14 hot cross buns. Yes, it has, Dick. I have grown my collection of Mr. Kipling's. Hello, Dave and Amy. Um, yeah, I've added. There's a cherry baked rolls of the new edition there. Yeah. Hello, Phil. Phil Johnson is here, ladies and gentlemen. Phil, pull the chain. Phil Johnson is here. Nice to see. Um, Phil is Andy's brother. Those of you who know Andy, those of you who don't know Andy, Phil is Andy's brother, but that doesn't mean anything to you. You see, that's all very well, Claire, uh, but at the moment it's just anarchic hoistlessness. Oh, the trouble with having a full set of Kiplings is that you've got one, everyone wants one, yeah, and then the Kiplings are in great demand for the shop, so I'm trying to avoid that eventuality. What I have noticed, however, on the trip to Sainsbury's today, is that they basically had a lot of Easter stock that they weren't really able to sell because obviously demand was such that more essential items were needed. So they've got a lot of surplus Easter stock at the moment, which is not very cheap. There were some chick-shaped jelly babies, which is odd. I mean, not as odd as jelly-flavored chicken would be, but it's that were down 50p for a reasonably sized packet. I had one for breakfast, and another couple for lunch, and I've got 9 in the oven right now. I'm going to make one large congealed mass of molten jelly, and then get in it and eat my way out. And that should take me up to about Friday afternoon. So looking forward to that. This is nonsense, isn't it? Yeah. I haven't had a drink in 5 weeks, by the way. Well, no, that's not quite true. A proper drink. Yeah, imagine. I did have a white Russian. So, yeah. Hello, Andy. Andy's here. Andy and Phil are here now. The Johnson brothers. That was the Gibson brothers, wasn't it? Who did Cuba? Yeah, wasn't it the brothers Johnson? Stomp? Was that the brothers Johnson? Should you have a look? The brothers Johnson. Oh, I've spelled brothers wrong. That's not helping anyone. Yeah, the brothers Johnson. The Brothers Johnson, oh blimey, the Brothers Johnson, an American funk and R&B band consisting of American musicians and brothers George Lightning Licks Johnson and Louis E. Johnson, with 3 singles topping the R&B charts: "I'll Be Good to You," "Strawberry Letter 23," and "Stomp." And that top 30 in the UK Speed Quizzing Championship without knowing that stuff. Hello, Jill. Hello, Tim. How are we? Are we well? Stomp, Andy, not stonk. Stonk was Hale and Pace and the Stonkers. Do I know Strawberry Letter 23? It rings a bell. I don't know why. A crane. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, and Tim. Sorry for the crane. A crane might be excessive. I mean, I'd like a hoist and some strong men should be enough to catapult me from this corner, I think. I don't know. Is anyone having any difficulty or anything like that? Is anyone aware of anyone they're waiting for? Anything like that? Because we're going to start in a couple of minutes. Okay. And you need to be ready then. So, teams and so on. If anyone's aware of anyone who's going to or having some difficulty, please let me know. Goodness sake. Also here, which is unusual, is Mr. Sutterby. Ladies and gentlemen, Lee Sutterby is here, who gave me the great news today. And I don't know why this has pleased you as much as it has, that Ronnie O'Sullivan is a Sheffield Wednesday supporter. This pleases me greatly. One of them, the leading name in their sport for entertainment and fast thrills and so on, and the other, a 5-time world snooker champion. Oh, blimey. I'm receiving photographic evidence of me on a large television in someone's house, which might be a normal television that I'm making look large. I don't know. Hello, Bobby, by the way. Hello, Alice. I presume you're together. Are you together? You have a lot of love for Ronnie. Yes, good. A bariatric ambulance. Lovely. I like the word bariatric. We're just waiting for Rob Down, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Down is processing. Those of you who know Rob's a big lad, and I don't want to upset him because he might duff me up with the rugby boys. So we'll just try to avoid that. But your answer sheet should go live. So if you refresh that page now with your answer sheets on, you should have scope to answer. Leo persisting with the Rob Up joke there. Rob Up being the opposite of Rob Down, obviously. Then also wrote Rob neither up nor down, and I said he worked at the Duke of York, which is an excellent joke, which was thoroughly unappreciated at the time. Rob Down says, ready to go bin the shit jokes. Okay, right. We're ready, okay? We're ready to go. I'm going to start. Unless I receive word that I shouldn't. You see, I have a quiz sheet open to me as well. So I'll just check if mine works, I. Yep, it opens fine. I'm afraid that's a problem at your end, Andy. If it doesn't work, sorry. Maybe get someone else in your team to be the scribe or something. But the quiz sheet is now open. I can see this. I'm going to start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Swan. As you may or may not be aware, Wednesday night quiz night in the Swan. Yada 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 yada. I have rules and contingency entry. Doesn't matter. We've been joined by some special guests today, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Prime Minister has joined us today. Here he is. Do you have a few words for us, boys? Fuck off, mate. And that's one of his children, who knows which. Today's guest publication, ladies and gentlemen, there were some who felt that the repeated references to Fight for the Ashes 1926 was a little harsh, a little bit dull, and I agree with you. On reflection, I agree with you. Because it's an old book. It's too old, isn't it? So what I've done is I've modernised my outlook today. And today's guest publication is The Cricketers Who's Who 1981. Do take a good look at this. So there'll be just to liven it up, keep it fresh for everyone. We'll have a bit of a chat. Okay, let's start. Hello, Steph. Let us start. Question number 1, which is on TV, ladies and gentlemen, on TV. His tongue, large enough to feed a family of 61 on lockdown for over a month, Jamie Oliver shot to fame in 1999 in which cookery show? What was the name of the cookery show which launched Jamie Oliver to the public consciousness? What show was that? Roger, when all this is over, I will lend you the 1981 Cricketers Who's Who. Obviously, we've had the real highlight of the book today, which was discovering this man. Look, Rock DJ, the Robbie Williams single, which he peeled off his skin in the video. That was disgusting. I know it annoys you when I talk, when you're trying to talk over Zoom. Every time I'm going to read a question, I will be holding up the Cricketers Who's Who 1981 by Ian Sproat. Question number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is on sport. 108 international caps between them. What is the name of the father and son who won FA Cups with West Ham in 1975 and 1980? That's the father. And the son winning it with Chelsea in 2007, 2009, 2010, and 2012. Father and son both share a first name and surname. What is that? 108 international caps between them. The father won FA Cups with West Ham, 1975 and 1980. The son, FA Cups with Chelsea in 2007, 2009, 2010, and 2012. What is that name? I should warn you, ladies and gentlemen, don't use any sort of mobile device to give yourself an answer. That would be awful behaviour. Don't do that. You do need the full names in this instance, Mickey. Yeah. Oh, do you? Yes, you do. You do. I mean, I presume you know the first name, but yeah. First name where possible, really. I'll tell you if you don't. I think it's not real quiz and etiquette that you don't, but no, not real quizzes. Question 3 is on lockdown. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you may not be enjoying the lockdown, I'm sorry. But I, ladies and gentlemen, am a massive fan of shoddily drawn rainbows in windows, and I'm having the best time of my life. I'm also a massive fan of government officials who normally work in the background, suddenly being expected to address the whole nation. And one of these is the Chief Medical Officer for England and the Chief Medical Advisor to the UK government. What is his name? The Chief Medical Officer for England and the Chief Medical Advisor to the UK government is one of the people currently addressing us in our daily coronavirus update. What is his name? Oh, sorry, Jim. Are you okay? Jimmy, just let me know via one form of messaging whether you're okay. Question 4. Some films, ladies and gentlemen. Which film duo first appeared in 1989 and then again in 1991? Are slated to appear again in a film released later this year in which they face the music, in which the characters have reached middle age but have to write a song to save humanity. So what film, Joe, is that? Just the character names is fine. First appeared in 1989 and then 1991 for a 29-year gap, and due to return later this year in which blank 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 face the music, in which the characters have reached middle age but have to write a song to save humanity and maybe revisit their youth along the way. So just the duo who are mentioned in the title of the film. I couldn't have made this much easier. Andy asks if I'm wearing trousers, and at this stage, I'm not going to tell you. I presume all of you. Sorry, I forgot some of you haven't done this before. All you need to do is just write your answer in the space next to the answers. It's dead easy, okay, at this bit. So just in the answer space there, the first 15 questions, it was clear. It's a little reminder of the question. I haven't put the whole question there, just a reminder of what the question was. And the answer space on the right-hand side, so underneath, sorry, so it's pretty straightforward. When we get to question 16, I'll tell you what you need to do. That's 51 viewers is something of a record. That's 51 houses as well. Not 51 viewers necessarily, Mickey. Yeah. Claire, which was the last question you heard? You had sound issues. Okay, question four. Question four, Claire. Which film duo first appeared in 1989 and then 1991? I have a new film coming out later this year in which the title characters, I got the title, face the music. In the film, the characters have reached middle age, but have to write a song to save humanity, revisiting their youth along the way. Hello, Zoe. I will remember this and I will temper my language. Could you let me know when she's gone, Tim? Thanks. Oh, what? Actually, Tim, could you just not let Zoe listen to a bad word in this next question? It's kind of important. Question 5 is on literature, ladies and gentlemen, of course. Just have a little look at the 1981 Cricketers Who's Who. But who can we find? Fucking hell, it's Fred Titmuss. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred, of course, lost 3 toes in a speedboat accident once, so do be careful if you're lactose intolerant. Good. Fred, of course, made his county debut in 1949, which is the same year as a famous novel was released, ladies and gentlemen, featuring the protagonist Winston Smith. What is that novel? Released in 1949. Protagonist Winston Smith. Very easy question. There we go. Yep. There is another HMHB reference which is a little bit more obscure later on, Jason. You'll be delighted to hear. Question 6 is on TV, ladies and gentlemen. Paddy McGuinness. Ladies and gentlemen, Paddy McGuinness is a man whose general merit was furloughed at birth. So in order to succeed, he's had to yoke himself to others. Peter Kay, of course, initially, but with which other character did Paddy present the Blank and Paddy Picture Show, the inevitable ITV series in which the duo would present pastiches of their favourite films with hilarious, sadly non-fatal consequences? The Blank and Paddy Picture Show, ladies and gentlemen, sadly a real television programme in which Paddy McGuinness and co-presenter present pastiches of their favourite films. Here is his guest host, ladies and gentlemen, just as it appears in the title, please. That's fine. That's it for swearing now, Tim. I apologise. You'll understand it was unavoidable there. Question 7, ladies and gentlemen. This is your links question, so maybe get some paper if you need to write down something. What links? I'm going to give you a series of things which are seemingly unconnected, but which, on closer inspection with a little bit of cryptic thought and lateral thought, can become conjoined by a certain unifying theme. Okay? All you need to do is tell me what links these things. Kevin Painter. The 1981 Cricketers Who's Who. Falco. The notorious American prisoner Robert Franklin Stroud. The police. Sir Thomas John Woodward. A misleadingly British fashion retailer and label set up in the 1970s by Stephen Marks. A chocolate biscuit made by foxes. Richard Branson. These last three are the unhelpful clues. Richard Branson. Wayne Rooney. And the Steve Bull Disco. I'll give you those again. Kevin Painter. The 1981 Cricketers Who's Who. Falco. The notorious American prisoner Robert Franklin Stroud. The police. Sir Thomas John Woodward. A misleadingly British fashion retail label made in the 1970s by Stephen Marks. A chocolate biscuit stroke bar, like one of those little ones, yeah, made by foxes. And then, unhelpfully, these next three: Richard Branson, Wayne Rooney, and the Steve Bull Disco. All you need to do for that question is tell me what links those things and write the answer in number 7. There is just one answer. It goes in your answer space to question 7. Jimmy didn't hear question 6, so here we go, Jimmy. Paddy McGuinness, ladies and gentlemen, Paddy McGuinness presented on ITV the Blank and Paddy Picture Show, in which he and his co-presenter will present pastiches of their favourite films with hilarious consequences. Who was the co-presenter on that show with Paddy McGuinness? The Blank and Paddy Picture Show. That was question 6. Question 7, just one answer in the question 7 space, okay? Good. Tim has reminded me of Burger on Croûte, which... oh, was that Zoe? Hello, Zoe. Yeah. The options were burger on croûte or a perfect cube of tagliatelle. It was amazing. I have the Encyclopedia of World Cricket, Roger, already, but thank you. Question 8. Oh, sorry. Question 8. Fasten your safety belts and gird your loins. For here is today's 2-digit A road question, ladies and gentlemen. All I need is the name of this road. It's an A and then a 2-digit number. Okay? All you need to do is tell me what number that is. And its route, ladies and gentlemen, it starts in London or it leaves London via Western Avenue, where, and I quote, it forms a graded, separated motorway standard dual carriageway. Good. Where Denham, it suddenly downgrades itself, yielding to, of all things, at times a 3-digit B road. I think so. Before I take to Oxford, where it becomes busy again, going through Whitney, pausing only to stop and spit in the face of David Cameron, whose fault all of this is. And then through Cheltenham, past the donut-shaped GCHQ building, worst village people cover ever. And then projects itself towards the English-Welsh border in Ross-on-Wye, Abergavenny, where I once had a lovely Sunday lunch with my uncle Rob. Raglan, it crosses the River Usk, the Carmarthen, past the former home, the former home of the former Glamorgan all-rounder Rodney Onton. Ladies and gentlemen, ambling through much of Pembrokeshire and places that I don't want to annoy Tim by attempting to say them correctly before winding to a close like civilization itself and indeed hope in Fishguard. Which A road is that, ladies and gentlemen? Leaves London to the west, through Denham, and all the way to Oxford, through Whitney, Cheltenham, Ross-on-Wye, Abergavenny in Wales, Raglan over the River Usk, Carmarthen, and through Pembrokeshire to Fishguard. Which A road is that? Question 9. Oh, sorry. Question 9, ladies and gentlemen, very straightforward question on science and other, apparently, than amateur epidemiologists. What is the most abundant element in the galaxy? The most abundant chemical element in the galaxy, ladies and gentlemen. What is it? Very straightforward. Lee Sutterby has been in touch. Can you can you give me a shout out on the quiz, please, pal? Big fan of yours. Laughing face. Hi, Lee. Nice to have you on board, ladies and gentlemen. Lee's inclusion just goes to show that anyone can take part in a quiz. Very important. I do remember the roving reporter in Fishguard on Barry Welsh is alive. Thank you. Yes, I do, Tim. Excellent, excellent television programme. I say remember. I've seen it. I don't remember it. Question 10, ladies and gentlemen, is on words. And which word, certainly relevant to your screens right now, can precede collie, dragon, seal, vulture, and most appropriately of all, tit, to give the names of 5 different animals? Collie, dragon, seal, vulture, tit can all be preceded by which word to give the names of 5 different animals? Question 11 is on TV. Oh, sorry. Question 11 is on TV. Ladies and gentlemen, TV I hate. The TV shows Wild Boys, with a Z, Homewrecker, Viva La Bam, and the film Bad Grandpa are all spin-offs of which TV show? So the shows Wild Boys, Homewrecker, Viva La Bam, and Bad Grandpa, the film, are all spin-offs of which TV show? Ah, the son of the bride speech. I remember that, Tim. I do remember this incident. Hmm. Bob, I don't understand your comment. In case you need question 10 repeated, which I think you do, the word which can precede collie, dragon, seal, vulture, and tit to give 5 different animals or species. Question 12 is on sports, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Cook in 1991 and Brian Ashton in 2007 are 2 of the 4 coaches to take England to the World Cup final in which sport? So Jeff Cook in 1991 and Brian Ashton in 2007 are 2 of the 4 coaches to take England to the World Cup final in which sport? I would remind you, when you're setting your teams, please only fill in the answer sheet in one house. I know some of you are playing across various houses. Please just choose one household, to fill it in. Okay, otherwise you'll end up with answers being marked wrong that are right. Don't forget, just the first 15 are normal. And whatever you do, don't click on the finish button at the bottom, because that'll just finish your quiz. You'll be done then. You can't do anything. So don't do that. Good. Here we go. Question 13, ladies and gentlemen. One, a notable entry into the 1981 Cricketers' Who's Who is the extremely moderate Warwickshire all-rounder J.A. Clawton. Ladies and gentlemen, J.A. Clawton, of course, first-class honours in classics, like some very good people do, and purely in the interest of writing limericks in the future, developed a career in merchant banking. After suffering a horrible injury, an injury, of course, also threatened the career of many Liverpool footballers in the late 1980s, as the manager at the time, their player manager at the time, was very keen for them to wear the shortest of short shorts, as was common in the late 1980s. Incredibly shorts. And because of the restricted blood flow, they suffered from a condition that was known colloquially as Dalgleish prick. Ladies and gentlemen, Dalgleish prick. Coincidentally, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one London Underground station, the name of which contains no letters, from the phrase Dalgleish prick. What is that phrase? Dalgleish is Dalglish. Prick is Prick. What is that word? A London Underground station that has a name that contains no letters found in the phrase Dalgleish prick. What is it? And we can return to Village or Cricket to Rob actually at some point. Yes, I enjoyed that game very much. And I have a new book on the history of West Indian cricket, which I imagine will contain many of those names. Obviously, I don't like to feature cricket books too heavily in the quiz. So. I will point out these questions aren't about cricket, though, are they? Let's be honest. The only London Underground station, the name of which contains no letters from the phrase Dalgleish prick. Ladies and gentlemen, what is it? Question 14 is on films. The Lucky Dog, a silent film of 1921, was the first, and Atoll K/Utopia in 1951, the last film to feature which performers as it stars? The Lucky Dog in 1921 was the first, that's a silent film, and Atoll K/Utopia in 1951 was the last film to feature which performers as it stars? And question 15 is on politics and history, ladies and gentlemen. The longest serving Prime Minister, very much the Fred Titmus of Prime Ministers, was also the first Prime Minister officially. Who was his name? The name of the longest serving Prime Minister of this country. And also the first Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen. Who was it? Sorry, Jimmy is once again asking for question 14, which is The Lucky Dog in 1921 was the first film, a silent film, and Atoll K, 1951, Atoll K / Utopia, 1951, the last film to feature which performers as its stars? The Lucky Dog in 1921, the first, Atoll K Utopia, 1951, the last film to feature which performers as its stars? Atoll K / Utopia. Okay, that's the final film. I think I've pleased everyone there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, question 16 to 25, you have to give me 10 things, okay? So I need one answer for each of these spaces, okay? Any of the top 10, you've got a little while to think about this, okay? And all I need is, according to the Woodland Trust, okay? According to the Woodland Trust, the 10 most common native tree species in the UK, okay? The 10 most common native tree species to the UK. So write one in each of the next 10 answer spaces, okay? You get a point for each one that is correct, okay? These are the native tree species, okay? Lovely stuff. I will be a little generous, okay? This is according to the Woodland Trust, by the way. And I am going to err on the generous. And I'll get on with marking the start of this quiz now. I'm going to have a cigarette as well. You've got until I finish this. Well, you've got the rest of the quiz because you just go back and do it. But I'm going to start asking the questions when I finish this cigarette. The 10 most common native trees, Harry, in the UK, yeah? For the next 10 answers, yeah? As defined by the Woodland Trust, who I think, they sound like they know about trees, don't they, the Woodland Trust? I finished my cigarette, by the way. I'll give you another minute just to finish those off if you wish now, as I'm generous. Good night, Zoe. Zoe has gone to bed, ladies and gentlemen. The foul language commends. Right. We're starting again now. Question 26, ladies and gentlemen, is on television, and two British sitcoms have aired new episodes in 5 different decades, or at least 5. One of them is Last of the Summer Wine, which ran for over 300 years, which recently became the second, with a new episode that aired earlier this year. The second British sitcom who, like Fred Titmus, new episodes airing in 5 different decades: the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s, ladies and gentlemen. Which sitcom recently became the second such to have a new episode airing in 5 different decades? Question 27 is on music, ladies and gentlemen. One of my favourite entries in the 1981 Cricketers Who's Who is that of the tiny spinner, Raj Maru, ladies and gentlemen. Raj Maru, whose dad is called Jam Das, by the way. But here you can see in his relaxations, ladies and gentlemen, he lists 3 things, which are soul music, dancing, and then the slightly unnecessary addition of the third interest, dancing to soul music. Didn't add very much there, Raj, but he will therefore have been very upset on December the 10th, 1967, when which Memphis soul legend died in a plane crash at the age of 26, along with 4 members of the Bar-Kays, ladies and gentlemen. One of them survived, one of the Bar-Kays. A Memphis soul legend who died at the age of 26 in a plane crash in 1967. Who is he? The rhythmic banging is me answering your questions. Crappy pretend episodes on comic relief do not count, Martin. The rhythmic banging is me. Is it this? Is this the rhythmic banging? That's my slightly heavy-handed approach to clicking. I apologize. I can repeat question 26, Leo, if you're listening. Question 26. There are 2 British sitcoms which have aired new episodes, like filmed then episodes in 5 different decades. One of them was Last of the Summer Wine. The other aired its most recent episode earlier this year, meaning it had broadcast in 1980s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. Which sitcom is that? Yeah, that's not a ban. It's me marking. Sorry. Uh, Irene, I am clicking the what do they call it? Mouse pad thing on my laptop, marking your answers. I don't deserve to be held in this kind of contempt. I do deserve to be held in this kind of contempt. You don't know why. 2028, ladies and gentlemen, is on games, and I suffered a series of misfortunes, really, a series of very serious misfortunes, playing Ursat Scrabble online yesterday when I was not permitted either to use the word botted, as in he's gone and got himself botted, and also another word which I won't spell out in full here, save to say that my letters spelled the word Untfest, and there was a spare C on the board. Anyway, in the game Scrabble, ladies and gentlemen, which letter is the only one that has a unique value that no other letter is worth? What's the only letter to have a unique points value in the game of Scrabble? Rhythmic banging. Question 29, ladies and gentlemen. Computer games of yesteryear. What is the name of the classic Sega arcade flight combat simulator game launched in 1987? Classic arcade machine, which featured a deluxe version, which could actually sit in a mock-up plane cockpit in the arcade. Brilliant. Like a big cage that went everywhere as well as you flew around. What was the name of that game? Very, very classic Sega arcade flight combat simulator, launched in 1987, which had a big cage you could sit in with a mock-up plane cockpit in it. What was that game called? For the Scrabble question, I don't want the number of points, I want the letter on it, okay? One team's answered that the wrong way round. Question 30, ladies and gentlemen, is on sport and music. And when it comes to sporting songs, which are simply not true, you struggle to do better than the Sheffield Wednesday 1993 FA Cup final song. If it's Wednesday, it must be Wembley, which is an association significantly tested by the passage of time. The Sheffield Wednesday, of course, played 4 times at Wembley that year. Once in the FA Cup semi-final against Sheffield United, lol, and then 3 more times against the same team. The League Cup final, which we won't talk about, the FA Cup final, which we can talk about a bit, and the FA Cup final replay, which we certainly will not be talking about. Which team did Sheffield Wednesday play 3 times in the 1993 season, both the FA Cup and League Cup finals? If you change an answer, Mickey, so I'm not going to go along, but if you overwrite that, then it overwrites it anyway. Okay? So until you hit finish, your answers aren't finalized. It picks them up after typing has finished in that space. Okay? So after you've clicked into another answer space, then it sends the answer to me. So if you then change that subsequently, it will overwrite that. So that's fine. If you manage to get the answer exactly as I've worded it, I don't have to mark it at all. Whoever's written about the arcade question, fuck yes, the rolling machine was the best. You are correct. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't mean the blank tile in Scrabble either, which is 0. You're correct. Although technically that's a lack of points and not points. It has a positive value. Okay, sorry about that. So it's not the blank tile. The Scrabble question. I should have been clear. You're correct. I could repeat the arcade question, Stephanie, as you asked so politely. It's question 29. The Sega Arcade Flight Combat Simulator, which would have a great big rolling mock-up cockpit you could sit in, launched in 1987. Classic arcade machine. What was that called? That's correct, Rob. There is an onus on you to get the answers correctly phrased, and then the rhythmic banging will draw to a halt. As for some of us in isolation, it largely has done anyway. Sorry, Jimmy. Apologies. Yes, for example, there are 2. Well, it doesn't. No. Yes, so there are 2 bands, but I just mean tiles with an individual point that only score a certain number of points. So, like, say, there's only. Imagine there was a letter that scored 11. Yeah, that and no other letter did score 11. Even if there are 8 of them, that would still be the correct answer. Okay, so it's just an individual score that's unique. There may be more than one tile of it. I'm not going to tell you that. Okay. Jimmy, question 27 is the music question. The Memphis soul legend who died in a car crash at the age of 26 in December 1967. He was along with 4 members of the Bar-Kays also on his plane. Okay, a Memphis soul legend who died at the age of 26 on a December the 10th, 1967 plane crash. Plane crash. Sorry if I said it is a plane crash. Sorry, Jim. Plane crash. I'm sure I said plane crash. It is a plane crash anyway. So if you change it now anyway, Jim, it's fine. Just relax. Good. Thank you, Sarah. Excellent. Question 31, ladies and gentlemen. Which hunky Australian actor played the receptionist role, the sort of equivalent of Sigourney? Is it Sigourney? Yeah, Sigourney Weaver in the original, in the all-female remake of Ghostbusters. Now, the all-female version of Ghostbusters featured a hunky Australian male playing the role of the Ghostbusters receptionist. Who was it? Rhythmic banging. Question 32, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most notable entries in the 1981 Cricketers Who's Who, of course, as everyone should be drawn to. It's the G boycott, ladies and gentlemen. It's the G boycott, which features the revelations that Jeffrey enjoys the TV show The Rockford Files, opinions on cricket, none, but also says that due to a distrust of foreign water, Jeffrey, when on tour, has his sponsor Schweppes fly out regular supplies of Malvern water to him. Very wise man. But Malvern, of course, is a spa town in which English county? Malvern, from which Malvern water originates, is a spa town in which English county? Oh, Stephanie. Yes, Stephanie, I'll read a sporting horror question for you. It was question 30, ladies and gentlemen. Sheffield Wednesday played 4 games at Wembley that year, of course. They beat Sheffield United in the FA Cup semi-final. And then played the same team 3 times. In the League Cup final, they lost. In the FA Cup final, which they drew purely to set them up for the FA Cup final replays, they lost. Which team beat them in both the League Cup and the FA Cup final at Wembley in 1993? Which made me cry. 2.5 hours in a traffic jam in Malvern. That is. And it's a hard man, hot biscuit song, isn't it, really? Good. Question 33, ladies and gentlemen, is on TV and names. And sharing the same name, first name and surnames. And he's given both the first name and surname here. Question 32, the actor Paul Nichols, some of you may remember, playing a somewhat paranoid EastEnders who actually put on a tinfoil hat at one point. The character he played, full name, first name and surname, whom his mum used to say his name a lot. The character shares his name with a man who's increased his media profile during this lockdown period, and annoyingly, considering his other advantages, seems to be quite a nice man as well. What is that first name and surname? So the first name and surname shared by the character in EastEnders, Paranoid, wore a tinfoil hat, played by the actor Paul Nichols, and a man who's increased his media profile somewhat during the lockdown period by doing good for the public. What is that first name and surname? Question 34, ladies and gentlemen, you may notice has come with a picture. Look at it. The things we need to notice are, A, how much of a Colin Hunt is that bloke who's come dressed as like a doorway into a butcher's or a greengrocer's? What on earth is wrong with him? And that model is terrifying. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely terrifying. But, of course, one of the heartwarming things about the lockdown period has been the great efforts of Captain Tom, who, A, should be promoted to Major, obviously. Secondly, that balloon model made by the Human Deck Chair. Bad news is that after his efforts, the DWP have raised the retirement age to 110. But who, ladies and gentlemen, with a first name similar to our previous Prime Minister, is the current Secretary of State for Work and Pensions? The current Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. What's her name? Her first name is similar to the previous Prime Minister. Look at that model. Look at it. Look at the state of him. Oh, it looks like he's still loading. Awful. Question 35, ladies and gentlemen, is on literature. And a quick glance through the Cricketers Who's Who, 1981, has revealed the existence of one Ian Bloom. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Bloom, also inventor of flowers, who doesn't have a photo in it because he's such an obscure player. Ian Bloom, he only played one one-day match, ladies and gentlemen. Also for his involvement in one-day match is another Bloom, Leopold Bloom, ladies and gentlemen, the protagonist and hero of which novel of 1920? Leopold Bloom, the protagonist and hero of sorts of which novel of 1920? Question 34, Jimmy. I presume that's the one you mean, red herring rambling. Unbelievable. Question 34, Jimmy. I presume that's the one you mean, red herring rambling. Unbelievable. What is the name of the current Secretary of State for Work and Pensions? Shares her name. So very similar first name to our previous Prime Minister. Okay? Secretary of State, Work and Pensions. Question 36, ladies and gentlemen, the anthropomorphic cheesy puff Donald Trump, a real-life mayor from Jaws. Of course, and those of you hoping not to be re-elected, do not forget that the mayor from Jaws is still the mayor in Jaws 2, recommended use of hydroxychloroquine. Amazingly, it had no effect. But hydroxychloroquine was originally developed to fight which condition? So the medication that Donald Trump recommended as a surefire great breakthrough to defeat coronavirus was called hydroxychloroquine, ladies and gentlemen, which was originally developed to fight which condition? Question. Question 37 is on broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. One final look, ladies and gentlemen, the Cricketers Who's Who, 1981, and who do we find in it but the ineffectual former England all-rounder Derek Pringle, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Pringle, and a number of opinions Derek Pringle has. But under music, we discover that Derek Prindle's taste in music is limited to just one song, which seems narrow. But appropriately enough, it was titled When an Old Cricketer Leaves the Crease by Roy Harper, beautiful thing, which in 2004 was played at the funeral of which much-loved veteran broadcaster. So the Roy Harper song When an Old Cricketer Leaves the Crease was played at the 2004 funeral of which much-loved veteran broadcaster? It's question 37. There we go. Now, I don't need. Have I frozen or has I just been still? I'm watching it on my phone as well, and it seems to be fine. That was asked. What was the last question that was asked that you heard? Did you hear the cricket question about the third statistician? Did you hear that? I'm going to carry on with question 39, which is on nominations and awards, ladies and gentlemen. Who was nominated as Best British Single at the 2002 Brit Awards, but also won the Best Director at the 1993 and 2005 Oscars? So, who was nominated as Best British Single at the 2002 Brit Awards and won Best Director at the 1993 and 2005 Oscars? That was question 39. Question 38, which you may have missed. The Duckworth-Lewis method in sport, in cricket, has recently had another name added to Duckworth and Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, what is that name? And another person has updated the Duckworth-Lewis method, and his name has been added to it. Who is that man? And 39 was who was nominated as Best British Single at the 2002 Brit Awards and won Best Director at the 1993 and 2005 Oscars. I've just asked 38 and 39 just then. Is that okay? Okay, so 38 was the Duckworth-Lewis blank method, who's that person had his name added to it. 39 was who was nominated as Best British Single, the 2002 Brit Awards, and then won Best Director, the 1993 and 2005 Oscars. Okay? Good. Appalls for the buffering. I'm going to do this well in case it goes wrong again. Question 40, ladies and gentlemen, is on music. The question is, which word of 5 letters or more has appeared in the title of hit singles? Lennon, Public Enemy, Eternal, Celine Dion, and Madonna. One word of 5 letters or more has appeared in the title of hit singles by Little Mix, John Lennon, Public Enemy, Eternal, Celine Dion, and Madonna. One word, 5 letters or more. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the next 20 answers on your answer space are the music. You'll see there are 10 music clips in the questions, okay? The first answer is the artist, and the one below that is the song title, okay? So you need the artist in the first space for each clip, the second until you get to question 60, okay? So question 60 is the 10th of those. They're quite straightforward, okay? So artist in the first one, song title in the second one. Lovely stuff. You've got about 20 minutes to do them, by the way. And we'll do that at the end, okay? There's three spaces for your pointless answers at the end, okay? Message either in the chat here or on my phone or on Facebook or something like that. I'll pick it up. Hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I just hope I pick it up. Okay, I'm going to give you till 10:15. Okay? And I mean that 10:15 is your ultimate deadline. The pointless questions, Jill or Tim, I'll explain in 5 minutes. Just leave them blank for the time being, okay? I will explain. I'll explain. Yeah, when I finish the music question, which is 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes time. Leave. There hasn't been a question 61 yet. That hasn't happened. Oh, bloody fuck. Okay, no one has missed any questions. We haven't had question 61. Okay. You haven't had question 61. Stop asking about question 61. Okay. But the next 3 questions, okay? The next 3 questions are your pointless answers, okay? You have 3 possible answers. If you are very confident of an answer, you can put it 3 times and it'll be marked right every time, okay? Or you can put 3 different ones and you'll only get 1 point, okay? For each one that's right. Okay, so it's up to you how you fill the next 3 ones in, okay? There are many answers here, okay? After you've filled in the next 3, so if you think you're very confident answer, put the same answer in all 3 spaces. You can put different ones in all 3 spaces. It's up to you. The pointless question is, last year, The Guardian produced a list of the 100 greatest TV shows of the 21st century, okay? I asked 100 friends, I gave 100 of my friends 100 seconds that The Guardian list as one of the 100 greatest TV shows of the 21st, and you'll get 3 points for it if it's correct. If it's wrong, you'll get nothing. You can put different answers in the spaces, okay? I'm gonna give you about 2 minutes to do that. When you have finished, when you've done that, please save. Tick the 3 boxes. You must tick the 3 boxes at the bottom and then click on finish. Any of the Guardian's 100 top TV shows of the. When you've put your answers in those boxes, 61, 62, and 63 are your pointless answers, okay? The question is to name an obscure answer. The more obscure, the better. For anything that Guardian said was one of the 100 best shows of the 21st century. Not necessarily English. So best TV shows of the 21st century. When you put those answers in your next three spaces, okay? Okay, you have 2 minutes to do that. As of now, then click finish, please, when you've finished. Okay. We'll then go through the answers. Okay. Right. Okay. Joy, have I returned, people? I apologize. I've no idea. It fell over. Um, I'm going to give you some answers. I've posted a link to the leaderboard there already in the chat. Okay, I'm going to just read these out anyway. Question number one, the Jamie Oliver TV show, was The Naked Chef. Question two, the footballers were Frank Lampard, senior and junior. Question three, the chief medical officer, Chris Whitty. Question four, the film duo is Bill and Ted. Five, 1984, Winston Smith. Question 6, Paddy Dennis and Keith Lemon, of course, in that TV show, which is sure to be good. Question 7, Kevin Painter, called The Artist. The 1981 Cricketers Who's Who, as I've shown you repeatedly, is a green book. Ladies and gentlemen, Falco had a hit with Rock Me Amadeus. The notorious American Robert Franklin Stroud was the Birdman of Alcatraz. Police, of course, had the lead singer Sting. So Thomas John Woodward is Tom Jones. The fashion retailer is French Connection. Chocolate Biscuit is Rocky. Richard Branson's a parasite. Wayne Rooney's an old deer hunter. And the Steve Bull disco is Dances with Wolves, of course. They're all Oscar-winning films. Question 8, the A40. Is your road the A40? Question 9, hydrogen is the most abundant element. Question 10, bearded can precede all those things. Question 11, jackass is the spin-off. Question 12, they've all taken England to the Rugby Union World Cup final. Question 13, monument is a tube station. There isn't one called Bow. Question 14, Laurel and Hardy were in those films. Question 15, Robert Walpole was the Prime Minister. The most common British native trees are as follows, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been very, very generous here. The alder. The hawthorn, the hazel, the holly, the rowan, the silver birch, the small-leaved lime, and the white willow. Question 26, the sitcom was Red Dwarf. Question 27, the sole musician is Otis Redding. 28, the letter with the unique point value is K, 5 points. Question 29, the arcade game is Afterburner. Question 30, Sheffield Wednesday lost to Arsenal. Those horrible environments. 31, arcade game is Afterburner. Question 30, Sheffield Wednesday lost to Arsenal. Those horrible environments. 31, ladies and gentlemen, 31. Chris Hemsworth played the receptionist. Question 3. Joe Wicks is the name of the character played by Paul Nichols and the Keep Fit monstrosity man. 34. The DWP, so head of DWP, the whatever word, pension secretary, Therese Coffey. 35. Leopold Bloomington Ulysses. 36. Malaria, anti-malaria drug it was. 37. The broadcaster who had that song played at his funeral was John Peel. 38. Stern, the Duckworth Lewis Stern method. 39. Tiny bit of a trick question. The best British single, nominated for Best British Single 2002 Brit Awards, was Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz. And the best director for Unforgiven and $1 Million Baby, I think, was Clint Eastwood. Question 40, the word power to the people, fight the power, power of a woman, the power of love, the power of goodbye, and power. The TV shows that were nominated were, the pointless answers were The Shadow Line, Broad City, well, I don't know if I got that, Skins, Garth Marenghi's Dartford, well, I don't know if you got that, Silicon Valley, Justified, Leftovers, Lucky, Halt and Catch Fire, Spiral, Show Me a Hero, Succession, The Jinx, Nathan Barley, The Americans, The Power of Nightmares, Transparent, Red Riding, Ken Burns' Vietnam War, and Atlanta with Donald Glover. Those are your answers. Well done to the Chords, who I believe have won tonight's quiz. There'll be another one at the same time next week, which, my God, I will work this out, I promise. I've no idea. It worked really well. And then I'm so sorry. Thank you all for taking part. Goodbye. I'm going to shoot myself in a bin. Bye.